I couldn't have that be my story. I didn't have time for a midlife crisis. I suspect there are currently a slew of folks at the Whole Foods on 125th Street or the Bikram Yoga Place on 145th, a location that was formerly a crack house, who can identify with having a midlife crisis, but not I. In fact, it was the opposite. When I decided to quit Rolling Stone, I'd found real clarity about not only who I was at that moment, but who I wanted to end up being in life. In traditional self-help books, this would be described as finding your purpose. Now, before you think I'm going to go all Zen Bevy on you, be clear that I had no fucking idea how I was going to achieve this abstract concept of living my life's purpose. I didn't have a crystal ball, but I did have enough of the spirit of the beloved Iyanla Vanzant to know that I had to fix my life. And I couldn't do that with a 9-to-5. Being tethered to a career I had outgrown was like standing for 2 hours in a pair of 6-inch spike heels. It looked good, but my feet and spirit were swollen and in agony. But of course, no one knew it by looking at me. If social media had been around in the late 90s and early aughts, the trolls might have played armchair psychiatrists trying to dissect my life. More than a decade before Instagram, I was living the Instagram life. A fierce, shapely woman, pictured frequently in exotic locales, hanging with beautiful famous people, wearing designer outfits, and excelling at her corporate job. Mine was a grown and sexy life on steroids. I was a Samantha. If this reference is unfamiliar, Google Sex in the City and thank me later. 38 years old with a small but mighty roster of lovers and the aforementioned cushy job. When I proclaimed to anyone who would listen, friends, enemies, lovers, the Rolling Stone security guard, my mailman, my 8-year-old nephew, that I was quitting my job, it seemed to many of them that my leaving was coming out of nowhere. And that's just the way I planned it. Who publicizes that for the past 5 years they were unfulfilled in their career? What's ironic is that even if I had told folks about my plans, they probably wouldn't have believed me. You see, I really was a bona fide rock star in the fashion advertising world then. Of course, this was back when folks still read magazines. And my job came with perks. I had an expense account so ample that I never paid for meals. I didn't come out my wallet even on the weekends, thanks to my lovers. I had become accustomed to flying first class, having a car and driver 20 hours a day while I attended European fashion shows, and my favorite perk of all time, Christmas gifts. My assistants would groan about the holiday season because of all the gifts I received. Okay, if I'm being honest, my assistants groaned a lot anyway. I was a tough boss. Every Christmas, my office would look like a photo shoot for the Neiman Marcus holiday catalog, pre-$50 collard greens, filled with gifts from every major design house, from Armani to Yves Saint Laurent, and these would be exclusive items. My haul of swag would include bags, shoes, jewelry, champagne, things that money literally couldn't buy because these gifts were given, and only to those with access. Here's a bevelation for you. True luxury is access. And as a fashion and beauty advertising director, I'd worked for 2 decades to earn that access. Who willingly gives that up? Who walks away from a job that pays well? A bona fide good thing. I'll tell you who. Someone looking for a great thing, an inspiring thing, a creative thing, a feeling of freedom, a new dream. In 2002, I wrote in my journal, I want to live differently, explore, and create. That was more than 2 years before I actually went ahead and did just that. Teddy Pendergrass used to sing, "You can't hide from yourself. Everywhere you go, there you are." Well, I proved Teddy wrong.